Let me share my tika lang, wait. Ah, share screen, okay? Yun. Ba't napunta na ito sa unan? Aba, may, yan, okay. Yun. Tapos, nakita na po ba yung screen?
Yes, sir. Kita na po.
Okay naman siguro, hindi naman siguro naglalag eh. Okay na siguro. And then, balik ulit. And then, kailangan ko ng pointer. Yun, nakita ba yung pointer natin yun? Okay. Nasulatan ko tuloy. Anyway. Ayan. Okay. Let me start my, nasabi na naman yung introduction ko, no? So, I proceed to the next slide. So, for illustration purposes, yung normally, yung design criteria natin, dinidiscuss ko is more on definition. Boring pag definition. Pero, wala, talagang we need to, is part of the, the technical webinar in definition. And to follow by the code standard, illustration workshop. Ito mas maganda, yung illustration. Kasi mas magandang, mas maraming illustration, mas better yung, parang i-imagine natin kagad. Better kasi puro letter lang eh. And then, more in schematic, yan. Kasama to, schematic, calculation, analysis. And yung calculation is very basic lang, no? Hindi tayo magkukumpita ng short circuit at voltage drop. Specification, problem cases. As you can see, yung project model natin is dalawang tower to eh. Two towers. Parang ang concept niya is just like the same with 168 mall. So may dalawang tower siya. The one tower is composed of residential and the other tower is composed of warehouse. And then the lower three floors is a commercial retail mall. That's why yung ating topic is mixed-use high-rise design. Take note mga sir, mga ma'am, no? In disclaimer po natin, the information contained in this presentation is not intended, no, as a substitute for professional design services, construction, or any engineering discipline. It is provided for educational purposes only. You assume full responsibility for how to choose to use this information. Okay, so as of now, I'm expecting na ngayon yung mga umaten, marami ng pinipare na mga tanong. So mamaya natin sasagutin lahat 'yan. Next slide please. So ang seminar outlines natin, number one is introduction natin, overview, definition, project flowchart, and then schematic design phase. Ito naman talaga yung pinaka-topic natin, no? Yung ngayon. Kasi when I conducting this seminar, talagang very broad to, yung mixed-use high-rise. So most likely, kinoconduct ko to ng part 1, part 2, if even worse, no, part 1, part 2, part 3, in a face-to-face, ano pa nga eh, yung setup. And then, going back do sa outline natin, yung schematic design phase is overview, design criteria, power utility requirements, single line diagram, proposed utility room. Actually, dito tayo magpo-focus. Ito yung matagal. Kasi ito naman talaga yung binibigyan naming report doon sa part 1 ng schematic design report. So, ito is bonus lang to kung may time pa tayo in the technical specification. Okay, next slide is, so the population right now is, alam naman natin, nag-i-increase yung population natin ngayon. Unlike yung 1990s, napapansin nyo yung mga tinatay yung building dyan sa Makati, wala pa yatang 20 story, pinakama, pinakamataas na yata yung mga 18 o 15 o tapos yung build up nila is hindi pa siya mixed use, no? Most likely kung offices lang o condominium o hotel. So, ganun yung setup ng 1990s. Because of the yung rapid development ngayon, nagmamahal na yung lupa, yung spacing dito masyadong tag ito, masyadong lumilit na yung small area niya. That's why nauso yung mixed use high-rise building. So, isang lote, tinatayo ng iba-iba, pwedeng combination ng hotel, tapos may residential, may office, o combination ng commercial tsaka residential. So, ganun yung naging trending na ngayon dito sa Pilipinas, sa construction natin. Then, so ano nga ba yung high-rise, no? So, yung high-rise, by definition, doon sa Wikipedia, no? Ito sabi niyo, sabi ng Wikipedia, define a building according to the state building code as high-rise building when the floor at least one room is more than 22 meters above ground level. Sa NEC is defined ng 5117, I think, point 2. Yung high-rise is 75 feet rin, consider as high-rise. Ilan ba yung conversion ng 75 feet? At tama, parang more or less nasa 22 point something meters. So, same lang. So, lumabas yung yung PD 1096 na Building Code of the Philippines, Section 707. Ito na pala yung pagkaka-define ng heights ng mga heights ng building according dito. So sabi nga raw niya, ang low-rise building, ito 1 to 5 stories is between 4 to 16 meters. So yan ang kinaka-categories niya. For the building with 19 to 46 meters of about approximately 6 to 15 stories is considered as mid-rise. When we say naman 49 to 181 meters in height, this almost 16 to 60 stories. Ito yung meron na ba tayo nito? Itong 182 meters, 60 stories. Yan. Marami na ito dito sa Pilipinas. Ito yung mga dyan sa, ito yung mga Stratford, may dyan sa, sa Makati. Meron din kaming design about 200 meters. Kung makikita nyo dyan sa corner na EDSA, Quezon City, meron dyan 200 meters almost, 65 story condominium high-rise is under, I think, under Double Dragon. So, I think one of the tallest building sa Quezon City. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa iyo. Sorry. Ito yung sinasabi ko, mga ma'am, sir. The type of high-rise building development, una yung residential building, residential condominium buildings, and service apartments. Next is in commercial and retail development. Ito naman yung composed ng office, building, and shopping malls. Mixed-use development, a combination of residential, hotel, office, and retail development. And others is yung mga tinatawag naman na institutional buildings. Ito yung hospitals, school, campus, university, and headquarters. So, ito yung parang typical na combination niya. May residential, may hotel, may office, at may mall. Ito yung tinatawag na mixed-use high-rise building. Paano ba yung simple sequence ng design phase? Una, si client, the client expresses intention to build again and get the services of an architect. Yung developer, yan, kukuha ng mga architect yan. Siyempre, para magbigay ng design, magbigay ng concept, perspective, etc. So, once nag-get na yung architect yung project, based sa requirement ng client, the next is yung engineering. Yan, papasok naman si engineering, hindi naman siyempre puro architect lang, no? So, the engineers are then hired by the architect as his consultant for the respective engineering expertise. All engineers follow the design intent as they formulate the respective design inputs, all go through architects and clients approval. So ito na yan, papasok na yung mga trade consultant ng engineering, structural, and the MEPF engineer. The MEPF engineer is the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, or sanitary engineer, and the fire pro engineer. Next is the basic service shall be divided into the following coordinated and multiple dependent phases. So ito na yung pinaka-flow ng phases na overall para makumpleto yung matapos yung design ng project. Schematic design, whereas ang dinidiscuss dito, yung design criteria, utility room, one-line diagram, service draft, etc. And then next, design development phase is more on permit na. For permit purposes lang muna, inuuna muna to. So hilaw pa yung design, no? Marami pang pinag-uusapan, pero first initial na ipiprint ninyo, itong design development na for permit purposes. And then, for permit purposes, pinag-uusapan na yung construction document. Ito na yon, talagang salang-sala na. So lahat ng requirements, lahat ng design parameters na architect ng galing sa client, so in-scrutinize na lahat yan. Ito na yung equivalent niya, ito na yung ginagamit sa for construction drawing. So from the for construction drawing, papasok na doon sa tendering phase. So ibibid na. Ibibid for bidding na. So hire na ng contractor para doon sa gagawa ng building. And next is construction administration. Ito na yung implementation. Papasok ng kompletong team from the client representative, from the project management, and the whole complete architectural and engineering design team, and the contractors, general contractors, and the trade contractors, and special consultant contractors. So ito na siya, papasok na siya dito. To give you an overview, mas maganda yung panoorin muna natin to. Sige.
This video, we would like to talk about the phases that are involved in architecture design and construction. There are typically 5 phases involved in the new development. These 5 phases are 1. Pre-design, 2. Schematic design, 3. Design development, 4. Construction documents, 5. Construction. Phase number 1, pre-design, PD. The first objective is to get together with a client and determine overall project vision and goals. There are some key areas to discuss about the project: scope, features, purpose, and functionality. This phase ends with the owner's decision to move forward with the project. Phase number 2, schematic design, SD. In this phase, we do series of rough sketches, drawings that illustrate the basic concepts of the design. Also, initial research of local compliance and regulations are completed at this time. And we move to the next phase with the owner's approval. Phase number 3, design development, DD. Design development collects the results from the schematic design phase and takes them one step further. This phase involves finalizing the design and specifying items such as materials, window and door locations, and general structural details. And now we have given shape to project's vision through drawings and written specifications. Phase number 4, construction drawings, CD. By now, we have final design and will begin preparing construction drawings, blueprints, notes, and technical specifications necessary for bidding, construction, and permit application. Construction contractors will use these detailed drawings and specifications to prepare for the construction. And we move to the final phase. Phase number 5, construction. Finally, construction is underway. During this phase, we will build as per the design intent. Also, if there are any changes, we will discuss changes and options with the owner and ensure that alterations are compatible with owner's vision for the project. This is the last phase, and at the end of this phase, closeout and warranty documents are handed over to the owner, and project is ready for the use occupancy.
Okay, going back, no? So nakita po natin yung mga project flow ng phases from schematic, conceptual, up to the sa implementation. So, ang purpose is marami kasing ibang nagdi-design na hindi nag-implement yung mga series ng mga phases. So, wala nang tinatawag nilang schematic, etc. Dumidiretso na kagad dun sa for construction phases. Ano nangyayari? So, the problem is hindi siya miscoordinated yung design, kulang-kulang, ang tendency, pagdating doon sa implementation, maraming problema. And one of the problem is malaki yung cost ng additional cost dahil kulang-kulang yung design. So, next. Let's move on to the design criteria. The design selection and sizing of electrical equipment is affected by many factors. Installation conditions, sasabi niya, in design, ambient temperature, kailangan natin consider. Altitude, load, demand factors, percent loss of equipment, undershot time emergency overload condition, yung voltage regulation, short circuit capabilities, the availability of the start large motor, and load characteristics, client standards, and relevant code standards. From the basic design consideration, one of the is kinukonsidering reliability. Sabi nga dun sa defines the ability of a system or component to perform its required function under stated condition for specified period of time as per IEEE. Reliability is an essential factor used in assessing the performance of a building service system. So the design of power system will be based on the need to provide stable source, sabi niya, stable source of electrical power, and to minimize any downtime associated with the system as a whole or the individual components thereof. The reliability of the system will be enhanced by letter A, a careful screening of suppliers, application of redundancy principle in system design if required. To continue with the flexibility is an electrical system means expandability as well as adaptability to changing requirements during the life of the plant. Consideration of the plant voltages, equipment, ratings, space for additional equipment and capacity for increased load must be given seriously study as per IEEE Standard 141. Economically, the electrical system will be economic design for continuous and reliable service. Safety to personnel and equipment, ease of maintenance and operation, minimum power losses, mechanical protection of equipment, and additional of future loads. Ito yung gustong-gusto ng mga ng mga client. Attempt to recommend the lowest cost sizing without lowering reliability, future expansion, or safety to limit the installed cost and minimize the future spare cost. Of course, safety. Safety of life and preservation of property are two of the most important factors to be considered in the design of electrical system as per IEEE Standard 141. Integrity. Ito yung pinagmamalaki namin. So, integrity, the quality of being honest and being strong moral principle and moral uprightness. So, one of the example as shown in the illustration, sample of the flexibility. As you can see in the left portion, Mr. X, we are called to assess and audit isang building ng design. We found out ito yung design nila. So, condominium lang naman siya, Parang, and then mixed use ng konting commercial sa baba. So ang design is 2.5 MVA, isang transformer. So simple lang yan. So nag-comment kami, parang hindi i-analyze nyo na, no? Nasaan yung flexibility dito? So we recommend do sa client na i-split yung 2.5. Yan. And then i-split yung generator into 2. Yan. Actually, 2.5 to. 2.5. Ayan. The problem with this one, kung may 2.5 ka, and then nagkaroon ng power shutdown, you have to meet the 30% requirement ng load ng 2.5, which is 750 kVA. The problem is, kung hindi mo ma-meet, o nag-below 30% ka, malaking problema yung generator. Magkakaroon malaking problema yung generator mo. Next is, safe and security is part of the design criteria. Our building design is 100% backup power for common areas, essential loads, and retails. Then emergency selected load for residential and warehouse. Addressable fire detection alarm system and public address system. So may gumagamit pa ba ng analog, mga conventional ngayon ng fire detection alarm system? I think halos almost addressable na rin lahat, no? So integrated CCTV, security system. So integrated in a sense na yung tinatawag ito yung mga camera na tatawag na IP na. Okay? So hindi na tayo gumagamit ng analog, no? Fiber optic to the home, since nauso na ngayon yung condominium natin, pumapasok na yung fiber to the home. Ito yung fiber optic na, no? So is for the condominium, wala na yung dating no? Magpapatakbo ka pa ng kung may cable TV ka, magpapatakbo ka pa ng Ryzen ng coaxial cable. So parang hassle pa yun, no? Papatakbo ka pa ng TTC na ilang multi-pairs of UTP cable. Right now, magpapatakbo ka lang ng isang Ryzen ng fiber optic and you can operate na in 3-on-1. You have your internet, you have your voice call or voice data, and you have your cable TV na. So imagine yung innovation yan, kakaiba na. No? And next is, part of the green building, alam naman natin na is mandatory na ng LGU, no? Use of sustainable lighting materials. May gumagamit pa ba ng mga fluorescent balas ngayon? So, alos wala na rin, kasi alam naman natin, when it comes to safety, health, meron contain pa rin siya ng hazardous. And then, another part of the design criteria, sometimes the owner, tatanungin engineer, magtatayo kami ng getong establishment. May idea ka ba kung magkano yung budget? Yon. So, I was also become a QS since 2005 for 2 years. So, in-extract ko lang itong data nito. So, pwede nyo itong gamitin to. So, for offices pala, you just simply get 2,500 to 4,800 per square meter. So, ayun na yung this exclude the generator and transformer. Hindi kasama po yun. For residential, 3,000 to 4,400. And for the hotels is 3,600 to 5,500 per square meter. And then for the shopping center is 3,000 to 4,600. This is particularly for electrical lang po. And then part of the design criteria, you have to know the power supply, who is the service provider. So, since nasa Metro Manila tayo, ang service provider namin, of course naman si Meralco. If you are in the other place like Cebu, Iloilo, like Cebu, si Beko yon. And then pag napunta sa Mactan, iba naman yon. And then sa Iloilo naman, si Ileco, so you need to know yung mga provider na kung saan kayo nagdi-design. So the system voltage is 34.5 kV and the secondary is 400 volts, to 30 volts. Binibigay ito sa ating mga kasamang trade consultant. Ibibigay nyo to na ang load secondary natin is 400 to 30 volts. Natawag natin 3-phase 4-wire line to neutral. Kasi this will be part of their guide para dun sa mga motor nilang bibilin. Si mechanical, si plumbing, pro, na para ma-advise sila, lahat ng motor na bibili nila is 400 volts. Not necessary 400 volts, depende naman dun sa sa mga rating, no? Kasi pag below 7.5 kilowatt, meron naman mga mga single phase, mga 5 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, may mga single phase naman. So, yan, 3 60 hertz. So, I already put the basic, gagamitin natin para doon sa elimination kada area, no? So, for corridors, 150 lux, toilets, 150 lobbies, etc. Ang source natin dito, kung meron kayong libro na Illuminating Engineering Society, standard na 2005, makikita nyo itong mga to. Parang in-extract lang namin, pero mas maraming pa itong table. For telecommunication, part also of the schematic design phase, so kailangan natin yung dahil ito condominium mixed use high rise, pwede na natin i-extract dito yung wait nasaan yun ako? Yon. Pag mga BPO, combination ng mga data center, malalaking item, ang service provider ni required nila is halos tatlo, di ba? Tatlong provider. Yung iba ni required, no? Since condominium naman tayo, tsaka parang warehouse, normally kahit wala naman tayong BPO, pwedeng i-consider nyo na dalawang service provider. Yan. Bahala na kayo kung sinong provider na i-apply nyo, si PLDT pa, si Globe, etc. So, this will also be part dun sa schematic design phase kasi hihingin ni architect ito. Anong size ng room na nire-require? So, itong room nito is standard size, at least minimum na hinihingi ng service provider. Okay. So, isa pa, ninonote ng service provider ng telecommunication na provide nyo kami ng aircon doon sa kaming MDF room namin. So, for the flow of the communication, as you can see, makikita nyo naman, for residential, ito. Ito yung sinasabi ko, fiber optic. So, iba yung fiber optic, iba naman yung distribution para nakabundle doon sa internet, para sa mga offices tsaka admin. So, magkaiba yung nito, technicalities nito, yung operation. Pero, isa lang naman, yung source niya, isa lang naman yan. Either well dito o depende kasi yung sa bundle na i-apply nyo doon sa provider. Next. We also, part of design criteria also is the public address system. Public address system will be provided to common areas in back of the house. So, sa main lobbies, corridors, hallway, lift lobbies, parking areas, common areas, platforms, yan. So, the paging system will be capable of delivering pre-recorded voice messages in the event of fire. System zoning will be clearly identified. So, nilagay ko na dito yung yung reference na nanggaling kay TOA. So, mostly sa mga indoor naman, ang ginagamit lang naman natin yung ito yung typical yung 6 watts, di ba? 6 watts typical na to. Next is part of the design criteria na you have to present is ano yung mga code na standard na gagamitin natin. So, of course, hindi mawala itong Philippine Electrical Code. NEC, no? Okay, NAP 70. IEEE. Kung meron kayong IEEE na yung 12 books, iba-ibang kulay to. Ito kasi paborito ko eh, yung kulay itong green book eh. Next is yung NFPA 70E, yung Electrical Safety in the Workplace. NFPA 72 naman para sa fire alarm, mga fire alarm detection, auxiliary. Of course, hindi mawawala yung Bureau of Philippine Standard. Dapat alam natin yung standard niyan. Ito yung sinasabi ko si kanina na Illuminating Engineering Society para sa mga locks natin, illumination. And then for the green building book, yan, downloadable naman yan. And the, for TIA standard, structured cabling system para sa telecommunication. Same as ANSI standard, NUL, and BICSI for the communication. NEMA, IEC International, yan. So, ang dami pala nating code na actually, ngayon kasi marami tayong code na ginagamit. The Committee of IEE, parang mayroong committee tayo na ina-harmonize na lahat ngayon. From ANSI, PEC, IEC. So mayroong team na nag-harmonize ngayon para sa mga code natin. Next is, we go to the main topic, schematic design phase. We just finish yung design criteria. Based on the client-approved concept design documents and any adjustment authorized by the client to the design, budget, program, schedule requirements, and the design professional will consult closely with the client and coordinate with the design team and develop any required design adjustment that will best meet to the client's objective. So, participate in the exchanges of DIA. Ito yung ginagawa namin and work closely with the team. Brief description on design assumption and load calculation. Outline specification for budget pricing by the quantity surveyor. Liaise the local building department and utility company. Attend schematic design meeting as scheduled. Pre-schematic level design in 3 sets of scale drawing. Yan. So ito yung component na lahat ng para matapos yung schematic design piece namin. So for the schematic design outline natin, ito yung natapos sa task sa design criteria. Okay na tayo. So we'll discuss yung power utility requirements, single and diagram preliminary load estimate, proposed utility room. Yung proposed receptacle outlet, tinanggal ko muna kasi masyadong mahaba rin to, tsaka to. And then the grounding system, and talaga specific, we have more time pa, i-discuss natin to. So, magpo-focus muna tayo dito sa power utility single diagram preliminary kasi napakarami nito eh. Ilang ano ba natin? Ilang oras ba tayo dito?
Kadalasan sir mga 4 PM po or 2 hours
Sige, 4 PM. Nako, 4 PM. Nako.
tayo.
Sige, sige. Okay, let's proceed na. So, in the schematic design phase, ito na yung unang meeting. Si architect magpe-present ng kanyang architectural plan. So, architectural plan, i-high ni architect yung architectural plan niya. Whereas yung architectural plan, nakalagay pa lang din yung mga partition, elevation. So, i-require ni architect do sa meeting, papakilala niya na lahat ng kanyang mga engineer. Complete team from structural, mechanical, electrical, sanitary, and fire for engineer. Unang-una, i-require niya kay structural, i-plot muna kung yung mga column mo, kung nasaan, column, frame, tsaka beam. Okay? Pagdating naman kay mechanical engineer, pakibigyan mo na ako ng 5 case, yung equipment room mo para sa mga chiller, sa mga AH room, sa mga blower room, yan. For electrical, ito. Actually, ito yung kakalculate natin mamaya at iisa-isa natin. Ito yung mga hinihingi niya. Electrical auxiliary room, mechanical room, utility room, transformer room, genset room, etc. For sanitary, ito naman hinihingi niya. 5 case, water tanks, TP size, yung STP na size, elevated water tank, blackout, and kay Fire Pro. So, mag-focus tayo dito. Yan. continuation of schematic design phase, as I've said, ito yung inihingi ng architect, utility rooms. Number 1, yung power utility room, telco room, main electrical room, transformer room, generator room, electrical room per floor, engineering office kung saan ba yan. Of course, hindi mawawala yung electronics at auxiliary room, fire command center, security room, server room, and then important notes, no? So, proposing itong location ng mga rooms, ito yung importante. Yung location must be properly coordinated with other trade consultant. Hindi yung mag-a-assume lang po tayo ng room. Eh, doon pala sa i-assume natin, doon din pala nag-a-assume si mechanical. So, kailangan yung properly coordinated with other trade consultant. Number 2, shop drawing to includes plans, details, section, and elevation. Sometimes, purpose ka ng location, hindi pa valid yun. Sasabihin na architect, ang laki-laki naman ng room mo. Bigyan mo nga ako ng ng details na katibayan, yung room na yan, iyan talaga yung sizes na inihingi mo. So, equipment specification, yan, kailangan mo ibigay yan kasi kailangan ng structural, yung bigat ng transformer, dimension, para gagamitin din sa mga calculation ng loading ng structural. Common chase and routines. Yun, papakita natin yung, let's say, ito, 45-story to dalawa. Kailangan natin yung common chase. Saan yung 5 chase mo? Saan mo ilalagay mo? Kasi iba-iba yan. May 5 chase si mechanical. May 5 chase si fire pro. May 5 chase si plumbing. So, hindi lang ikaw. So, ipapakita mo na naman yon sa schematic design phase. Of course, last is yung working clearance as specified in Article 1.10. I-atakin natin yan. So let's proceed sa schematic design phase, part 1. Doon muna tayo sa location. Paano ba mag-create ng location as per doon sa ibibigay natin kay architect. Kasi ni-required kayo, Engineer Johnny, ibigay mo sa akin yung mga location ng auxiliary room mo, electrical room mo. As shown in the figure, makikita nyo, ito yung footprint ng building natin. Imagine natin, ha? We have the tower 1 or the residential of about 45 story and the tower 2 as warehouse, same as 45 story in height. And then we have the commercial retail. Ito yung makikita yung plano is part of the basement. Isang basement lang po tayo. So, i-extract natin. We have, number 1, yung dotted line. Ito yung core 1. Sinabing core 1, ito yung core ng tower 1. Whereas makikita mo, may elevator siya. Yan, may mga elevator yan. May fire exit staircase. So, ito yung pinaka core 1 ng tower 1 going up to tower yan. Diretso-diretso na yan. And then the other one, ito naman yung core 2 ng tower 2. Nandito naman yung generator niya at nandito yung mga fire exit niya. So, ang tanong, kung titingnan, napansin nyo ba yung electrical room ito? Assume si architect, inassign niya electrical room dyan. Imagine, kung mapapansin nyo, siyempre si architect, hindi naman siya technical, no? I-assume muna dito yung electrical. Ito nga yung in-assume yung plumbing, oh. So, basically, kung i-analyze mo yan, based sa experience mo, yung electrical room kulang na. Masyadong maliit. Tapos nawawala pa yung auxiliary room. And then for this basement, ang daming load dito. Nandito yung mechanical ventilation, nandito yung fire pump, nandito yung mga transfer pump, nandito yung mga STP, nandito yung mga jet pump. So marami siyang load, no, na kinukonsider. So, from this point of view, ang magandang proposal, ito yung binigay namin kay architect. Architect, pwede bang ito muna, kunin ko muna yung plumbing. Gawin ko electric auxiliary tsaka EE room. Okay? For this tower lang sa core 1. So lahat ng load ko for this core, dito ko ipapasok. Yan. Kasi may mga panel pa ako dyan, mga LP panel, PP distribution, may auxiliary ko dyan. And then the core 2, dito naman yung request ko. EE room, nandito yung auxiliary room. So lahat ng load ko dito na manggagaling, dito ko siya dadalhin. Kasi meaning ito yung elevator shop niya, 4 of 5 elevator. Ito naman para sa residential. It will be hard for you kung dito mo ilalagay isang i-room lang at ang load mo nandito, ang haba niyan. Which is hindi ideally in reliability when it comes to pinag-usapan natin, alam naman natin, pag mahaba yung wire, ang ang unang na-apektuhan yung consideration is voltage strap. So, ideally, yung pinropose naming i-room. So, ang tanong, ba't ang laki dito? Ano bang ano yan? Yan, doon sa next ano natin, slide, kakalculate natin kung anong mga laman yan. Para yung i-depend natin, yung size ng room will be enough doon sa pinopropose natin based doon sa ibibigay nating mga sizes ng mga equipment na i-calculate natin mamaya. At makikita rin nun in reference doon sa power single line diagram na ipopropose natin. Sa ngayon kasi, kung titingnan mo, pag nag-propose ka ng EE-room, wala ka pang load eh. Hindi mo nga alam kung anong laman yan, di ba? So, based sa experience naman, parang rule of thumb lang, visualization, sa tagal na rin naman natin. Alam parang expected, I can assume kung nasaan yung EE-room based dito. So, ito naman, yung, siyempre, wag natin kakalimutan, kung may sa electrical room, may part of auxiliary room. So, ito naman yung MDF room na sinasabi ko. Dahil sinasabi natin, hindi naman natin kailangan ng 3 service provider, we might as well yung kahit 2 provider lang. So, dito naman natin nilagay siya sa basement. Ang size is, sa kaninang sinabi natin, almost 4 by, I think 3.5 by 2.5. Next floor. So, next floor, ito na yung ground floor. Ito na yung commercial. Commercial space retail. Ito na yung mall. Kung nakikita mo yung kulay blue, iyon yung mga retail. This regardless, hindi pa kasi namin alam kung Jollibee yan, etc., Chowking, o Waterman. So, ito na yung binigay ng mga retail sa ground floor. So, nasaan ngayon yung electrical room na ipopropose na naman natin tsaka auxiliary room? Of course, kung yung pinropose natin doon sa basement, is simply copy lang naman yan doon sa third floor. Kasi hindi pa pwedeng liko-liko yung iiro mo, dito mo nilagay sa ilalim, tapos mamaya, dito mo naman sa ibabaw yung isang iiro sa taas, susunod na floor. And then sa susunod na floor, dito naman yung iiro mo. So, pag propose tayo ng iiro, kailangan typical. Di ba? Same location. Para pag nag-riser up tayo ng conduit, same location lang, at the same time, when it comes to maintenance, mas madali, di ba? Madali i-maintain. So, for this floor, itong ground floor, we propose same electrical room, and then for the another floor, do sa core 2, same pa rin naman. Okay? Next. So for the third floor, commercial, ito na yung third floor commercial. I think ito yung mga food na eh. And then same, kung mapapansin nyo, yan, yung pinropose na room is EE tsaka plumbing. Alam nyo ba kung anong size nito? I-assume is 1.5 by 2. 1.5. Ito, binigay niya, ang size talaga niya, yung binigay ni architect is 1.5 by, I think, 2 meters. Hindi pa nga 1.5, 1.2 lang yata. Yan. Minsan, yung mga hindi expert sa yung mga nagsisimula pa lang, dito marami nagkakamali. Why? Pumapayag sila. Pumapayag na yung design engineer kasi bago eh. Sige, okay na ako yan, architect. Okay na ako dito sa room mo. Naku, malaking problema mo. Pag dumating yung actual na equipment, hindi magkakasya lahat dyan sa mga nilalagay. Yan. So, same thing pa rin. Ito pa rin yung auxiliary room ng Tower 1 at Tower 2 ng core. Ano naman itong nasa kaliwa? HB switchgear, PMB room, transformer board room, medium voltage transformer, low voltage switchgear, genset. So, imagine, ulitin natin ha. Ito yung binigay ng architect at preference ng client. Puro retail to, kung mapapansin nyo. So, dinagay ko to ngayon. Pinupropose ko. Naku, nagalit lahat sa akin ng client. Halos tanggalin na ako sa project. Sabi ko, ma'am, sir, wala naman kayong magagawa. Kung gusto niyo hindi ilagay, wala kayong kuryente. O bakit hindi ilagay sa basement yan? Diba? So ideally, ang mga utility, si Meralco, ang preferred talaga ay nasa second floor. Kasi, ito kasi, part ng solar to. Solar yan eh. Yan. So madali ka agad access yan. May truck ka dyan, any case na magkaroon ng problema. Yan. So maraming condition naman, pwedeng second, sa Meralco kasi may condition naman, pwedeng sa ground floor o pwedeng second floor. Pero since sa gitong situation na project, it is ideally, lahat ng equipment mo, sama-sama na. Para pag pumunta yung maintenance engineer, isang puntahan lang lahat yan. At the same time, yung mga wire feeder niya na connection, dito lang lahat magkakatabi lang. Makakatipid. At makakatipid siya ng cost. Hindi naman pwedeng yung genset mo nandito. Di ba? Tapos yung LBS0 mo nandito. Tapos yung medium voltage mo dito. May ganun bang design? Ayan. Obviously, ang ideal is dapat sama-sama lahat sila. Yan. Sabi nga doon sa IEEE, di ba? Yung reliability tsaka maintainability. Ito yon na binabanggit. Next floor. So, nasa location muna tayo ha. So, balisan na natin. Ito na may location sa commercial. So, what I'm trying to say is lahat ng location ng EE room should be same floor lang na location, no? Typical siya, yan. Ito mapapakita ko pa sa inyo isa pang problema. Hindi man problema, yung assume lang. Yan, ito. Kung titingnan natin, ito yung typical floor ng residential. EE tsaka plumbing. So itong residential nito, 49 floors to. Typical. Kung mapapansin mo, itong EE, yung 1.2 by 2 meters, kasya ba dyan yung mga meter center? Kasya ba dyan yung mga lighting panel? Kasya ba dyan yung bus duct? Wala pa yung auxiliary room dito. Di ba? So, pag pumayag si engineer, yan na-construct, nag-commissioning na, dumating na lahat ng equipment, at sasabihin ng engineer, sasabihin niya ng engineer, design engineer, nagkamali po ako, architect, hindi ko alam na ganito pala yung size. Itong mga unit na bili na. Typical to. From first floor, R1 to 49, ibig sabihin 49 floor. Tapos sasabihin mo kay architect, papakita ko sa inyo yung next, kasi ito yung ni-request namin. Yan. Lahat yan, ini-request ko na auxiliary tsaka i-room. Pero, itong part nito, napansin nyo to? Is part ng residential to. Ito, yung pangalawang kulay. Pag dyan mo palang sasabihin kay architect o kay developer, natapos na yung building, kulang kasi yung ko doon, pwede ko ba i-request do? Patay tayo yan. Mangyari yun. Siyempre nabili na yan eh. Tapos tapos na to, tapos na yung architectural finishes na ito. Ayun. Yan, ang purpose is you have to anticipate talaga. Nagkaroon naman debate dito. Kasi typical floor to, kinuha ko tong area na ito. Sabi ko, wala tayong magagawa. Hindi naman talaga kakasya doon sa binigay nyo. Yan yung bus dock room. So makikita nyo ngayon, sasabihin na sa inyo yung architect, tsaka ng plan, you have to prove me kung ano yung mga nakalagay na equipment dyan. Ayun, makikita natin yan mamaya kasi ikakalculate natin yung kung ano yung mga laman niya. Next. Okay. So most likely, yung sa location, ito naman yung location na kailangan, wag natin i-disregard yung communication. Kailangan yung Power Command Center, mga telco room, ipapakita mo rin kung saan. Okay? I cite a sample of illustration whereas isa sa mga project namin sa Kanyong Palawan is ito talaga. Binigay yung plano, siyempre aesthetic lang tsaka masyadong ano yung ano na doon sa mga room. Hindi niya alam na anticipate ng architect. Hindi pala magkakaroon ng walang kuryente ang hindi pala magkakaroon ng kuryente yung kanyang resort. Kasi walang genset room na location, walang power supply na transformer na incoming from the Paleco, the Palawan. Ang binigay niya lang i-room na maliit kada floor dito. O saan yung topping point? O, so ito yung provide namin, yung parking. Architect, we suggest to propose the location of all the uh, electrical equipment for the power supply and also for the emergency backup generator will be dito yung located. So ito na siya. So pinropose ko to, nagkaroon siya ng bahay, wala na rin nagawa sa architect. So imagine, doon pa lang sa schematic design phase, kung mapapansin nyo, pinaplansya na lahat ng utility rooms. Prior to proceed to next design phase. Kaya nga may phase by phase eh. Kada phase, pinapa-aproba natin. Kaya ito, yung nilagay ko ito, pinapirma namin si architect at si client. O, pirma, sign, okay na, di go. So proceed na kayo sa design phase, doon sa sunod na design nyo. Okay? So, ito yung i-discuss natin, no? Overall, natapos na tayo doon sa location. So, we have to discuss itong power utility, single line. And then, after this one, may kukumpleto na natin is schematic design final report na binibigay namin kay architect. Now, I will show you later. No? So, let's proceed to next is power utility requirements. It's part of the schematic design piece. Ano nga ba yung power utility requirements? Obviously, may power utility requirements. Ito yung provider. When it comes to provider ng electric natin at dun sa communication. So, service provider natin, of course, si Meralco. The system voltage. Voltage data. Ano ba ibig sabihin yon? So, pag nag-umpisa na kayo ng design, you know the service provider. You know already the service provider. You have to know, you have to get the data. Like, let's say, hindi na ako magbabanggit ng mga kooperatiba. May cooperative kasi na somewhere dyan sa yung fluctuation ng voltage pagdating sa inyo rampant, no? So kailangan mong kunin yung mga data, yung voltage result nila, na data nila para pagdating doon sa inyo, ang purpose is wala kasing fluctuation. Anong ginagawa? Anong nilalagay? Any suggestion? Siyempre, pagdating sa inyo, you have to provide one of the solution is you have to provide the ABR, transformer ABR. Nga lang, mahal nga lang yun. Pero that will showcase yung solution doon sa problem ng fluctuation, especially pag sa mga resort. Malakas yung yung mga chiller, no? Mga very sensitive. And then primary metering, secondary metering, multi-metering, service drop, and technical crew access. So part of the utility requirement, i-discuss natin to. And then, yung iba, may requirement kasi ng photovoltaic, ito yung solar, no? Pag nagdi-design kayo, gusto ng owner, may solar. So, i-include nyo to sa design nyo. Ito na rin naman yung ngayon yung pinaka-trending ngayon, no? Yung solar, no? And telco service provider, of course, it's either PLDT, Globe, cable TV, yan. So, let's discuss itong power utility requirements. So, number one voltage consideration is nakikita nyo dito sa excerpt from power system design analysis part 1 ng Delta Power Engineering. So, iba-iba palang voltahe, no? Iba-ibang voltahe kung saan kayo, pwedeng kung nasa Beco kayo, 24 volts, kung sa Eleco kayo, 30.8, may 13.5. Kung malaking load nyo, pwede kayong direktang kumagabit sa 69 kV with NGCP, depende yon. And then, 34.5 you have to know ano yung mga voltage level na gagamitin niyo. So of course yung voltage consideration ng schematic niyo, of course kung bahay naman yun, madali namang bahay kung line to ground o line to line. Of course ang gagamitin natin dito, ito 3-phase 4-wire. Yan. So depende kung anong gagamitin niyo, no. So when we start designing in schematic design phase, we usually coordinate with Meralco always do sa facility. So pupunta namin si Meralco. So we ask ito yung requirement ng aming project, no. We have to design a building which is ang operating voltage namin sa secondary is 400 volts. So bibigay niya tong mga parameters sa inyo. Yung mga rules nila. Kailangan hingin niyo yun. Kailangan naka-inline tayo. Hindi tayo basta magdi-design. Sa umpisa pa lang, we need to coordinate dun sa power utility. Either Meralco, kung nasa Davao ka naman si Davao Electric. Oh. So, ito yung sinabit namin kay Meralco. Ito yung requirement namin. Okay. For the primary naman, ito naman yung requirement natin is 34.5. Alam naman natin sa Metro Manila, normally ang primary nila is 34.5. So ito yung mga requirement na binibigay ng Meralco yan. Okay? So part of the power utility requirement continuation is ano ba yung metering? Ano ba yung set ng meter natin? Primary ba? Let me discuss yung primary metering. Sabi nga sa DPC, a primary level service requires customer to take service at or above 2,400 volts daw and make investment in a primary disconnect switch, a primary voltage transformer, and primary cables. So, mag-i-invest ka nga lang kung primary metering ka, no? When it comes to multimetering naman, a multimetering setup is usually applied by large buildings with multiple individual units, such as condominium, apartment, or commercial. Secondary metering is a secondary metering installation. The voltage is lower than primary installation. Secondary metering is installed on the secondary outputs of both overhead and underground transformer. It can also be installed in CT cabinets or at the right side. Diyan, pagkasabit niya. So, ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Tingnan natin doon sa illustration kasi pag wording, parang hindi mo ma-visualize, no? Yan. Ito one of example na sinasabi dun sa secondary metering. You have the transformer outside na naka-fall mounted which feed doon sa premises at less than or equal do sa 460 volts. So meaning i-assume natin may support dito mamaya. And then the other one is the underground naman. Underground naman siya pero feeding also yung transformer na nasa labas. Ang pinagkaibahan lang nito, yung transformer nasa pole mounted, ito naman sa kanan is nasa naka-pad mounted. Pero same application is feeding the low secondary voltage. So ito yung picture niya, sample. So ito yung transformer niya. And then ito yung project namin dyan sa Tandang Sora, 10-story condominium. So itong transformer, nag-feed siya as secondary metering. Secondary service, but multimetering siya. But multimetering? Kasi multimetering, marami siyang unit. So naka-meter lahat ng unit. So inaalam naman ni Meralco, ito siya. Yan. So ito yung tatawag na multimetering. Kung secondary meter lang, parang isang ano lang siya, isang metro, isang premises lang yung sineserve niya. Diba? 4 na floor o 5 floor, parang offices lang na ano. So isang metro lang yon. Hindi siya multimeter kasi it serve as 1 meter lang. O pag multimetering, ito yung sinasabi niya. So naka-meter lahat ng unit namin. Even yung commercial dito, naka-meter yung 7-Eleven yata. So, ayun yung kaiba, ay ayun yung definition, parang guide na ano, kung mabibisualize nyo, anong kaibahan, differentiation ng primary later ito susundan natin. Then for the primary metering, so ito is part of the secondary rin, no? Mapapansin nyo yung incoming niya overhead siya. Ito yung pinaka poste niya, no? Kung mapapansin nyo, itong fuse cutout niya, naka-poste. Ang kaibahan lang nito, itong transformer niya, kanina nakita niyo yung transformer nasa labas. Meron naman yung transformer nasa loob ng building. Kaya nga iba, nire-require ni Meralco na transformer bolt room. Sa Philippine distribution, ideally, yung transformer bolt room, nakalagay kasi doon 300 eh. Ewan ko lang kung na-revise na. Pero normally ngayon, yung mga 300 ngayon, ginagawa, naka-pole mounted na rin. Pero ideally, yung mga transformer board na nilalagay, yung naka 1 MVA. So, pwede rin yun. So, another one, ito naman, is naka-pad mounted transformer rin naman siya. Nakalagay siya sa bolt room. Ito, nakalagay siya sa bolt room. Ang kaiba naman nito, ang tapping point niya, hindi naka-overhead. Ayun, napansin nyo. Makikita nyo to sa mga underground facility. Diyan sa Asiana, sa BGC, for underground yon. So may switch gear siya. Ganyan. May pad-mounted switch gear siya. So next is, let's proceed naman dun sa sinasabi ko, 3.6 kV to 34.5 kV. Ito naman yung sa primary metering. Okay? Kung mapapansin nyo sa primary metering, ito. So sa primary metering, ni-require ni Meralco na magkaroon ka ng primary metering vault room. Yan. Okay? Yan, primary metering vault room. Ito yon. Yan. So, itong ano, ito yan. Okay? So, may isa pang instances na itong primary metering vault room mo, nasa poste naman. Ito naman yon. Ito, same lang naman to, no? Yung primary metering vault room niya, nandoon sa taas. Nasa taas ito to. Ang requirement lang ng primary metering vault room, dahil hindi mailagay sa baba, ang sasabihin naman ng utility sa'yo, sige, bigyan mo ako ng access, paakyat doon. So ito, actually, ginawa lang aesthetic to, may hagdanan yan, paakyat doon. Next is, part pa rin ng, primary metering ito. So tingnan natin yung features yan. Ito yung naman yung sinasabi ko. Itong primary metering vault room niya, instead na naka-vault room, nandito siya sa poste. Pwede rin naman yan. Ayan o, ayun yung CTPT niya. So naka-pole mounted na siya. Ito na yan. But, yung utility nyo, i-require kayo na magkaroon ng first private pole ito. Yan, nakalagay o, by customer. Ito yon. Ito naman yung first private pole. So, in reference to the power utility requirement, you have to yung mga rules talaga standard. Hindi hindi basta-basta yung tayo magdi-design lang. O next. This also part of the power utility requirement sample, whereas ito naman yung tinatawag na multi kumbaga multi-tapping to. Kumbaga ang tawag dito, kung meron kang diba, meron kang condominium na ang load mo is 3 MVA. Yung condominium ang 3 MVA load mo. Yan. Pwede pa lang nakabank, may 1 MVA ka. Yan. Yan. Pwedeng ganyan. Nakabank siya. Multi-tab. Sir, kung 4 MVA, kung nagdagdag pa akong 1 MVA, o di okay lang. Yan. So, pwede nyo i-coordinate ito kay Meralco, but ito yung isa sa mga rules ni Meralco. May taga Meralco ba? Correct mo yung, paki-correct kung ano. Okay, next is, parehas lang naman to doon. Ito naman, ito yung secondary metering lang. Nasa poste yung Meralco, nilagay yung metro dito sa labas. Yun lang rin naman yun, secondary, pero multi-metering siya. Ano naman to, sir? Ano naman to? Ayan. Ito yung kaninang pinapakita ko. Pag ang just Asiana, iniiwasan yung mga overload, may mga poste pa, mga poste na ayaw nila makita, gusto nila underground. Ito na yung tinatawag na underground switch gear na nakaloop. Tapos papasok na yan dito. Papasok na yan doon sa sa premises. Wala akong mamaya makikita niyo yung sample nito, papakita ko na lang sa inyo kung paano nag-feed to. In summary, ito yung pinaka-power utility requirements niya. Ito yung ginamit namin dito sa Avenida. So, it's a combine of secondary metering at primary metering. Kasi, ang ni-require ni Meralco, ngayon, dati okay lang eh. Yung dati, residential, commercial, warehouse, pwede ng isang primary metering yan. Ngayon, dahil kung may condo residential ka, ni-require na nila yung i-separate yung residential. Kaya nagkaroon ng secondary metering dito. And primary metering. Kulang to, no? Dapat may switch gear dito. Yan. So, in figure 3, ito naman yung sample ng secondary metering. Yan. 2 MVA, that's 1 MVA. And for the industrial, above 2 MVA, ito naman yung primary metering. And the other one is also shown is same concept ng secondary metering. Yan. So, power utility requirements, we have to get yung kanilang mga prepared na requirements, standard. Yan. So, hiningi namin to kay Meralco, ito yung mga kailangan i-comply. Sabi niya, yung prepared vault location shall be on the ground floor. Yung case to case lang naman to, kung sa ground floor. May, let's say, yung building nyo, wala namang basement, nasa ground floor lang. And then, you have to put you propose to put your yung transformer tsaka sa ground floor, okay na naman kay Meralco yun. And then next is second floor may be allowed for bolt type DTs and spud mounted transformer with hoisting facility. Ito na yung sinasabi ko sa iyo. Second floor. So ito na yung pinapakita kong proposed na second floor. It's either gamitin yung bolt type o pad mounted. Pero kailangan mag-provide kayo ng hosting facilities. Pwede naman daw, sabi. Sa first basement may be allowed for buildings with multiple basement. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Halimbawa, yung building nyo, may multiple basement dito. Let's say, 3 basement. Yan. Sabi ng power utility dito sa first basement is, kung ito yung basement 1 mo, pwede naman pala dito ilagay yung kanilang equipment. Basta sa first basement. Hindi dito, hindi sa second, hindi dito. Okay naman daw sa kanila. With multiple basement. The bolt shall be located on perimeter of the building. Yes. Dapat perimeter eh. Alam mo na ito yung yung building mo, may kalsada diyan. At may kalsada dito, kunyari. Tapos, itong katabi is building ng ibang kasama mo, kapitbahay mo. Alam mo yung bolt room nila, ilagay mo dito. Diba? Yun yung sinasabi. That is precisely, absolutely correct. Wrong. So, normally, perimeter, either dito, yun yung sinasabi niya, para madali accessible nila. Adjustment to the street roadway accessible to Meralco, trucks and crane. Dapat yun yung road niya at least 6.5 meters, etc. Okay, so We have done with the power utility requirements. Next is part of the power utility requirement is the service drop or service entrance. Tinitingnan nila kasi yan ng, hindi lang ng power utility, at the same time, tinitingnan nila ng LGU. So by definition, a service drop, the overhead conductors between the utility, electricity supply system, and service points. So service drop, entrance, conductor, overhead system, service drop. So marami itong exemption, no, from A to D. To figure it out, mas mabilis kung papakita ko na lang illustration. Kasi hindi ko na to in-extract eh. Parang mas maintindihan natin itong sample na illustration. Yan. As shown dito sa picture nito, ito yung along 1 Balete Drop and Domingo sample. May building na 1 dito at building 2. So, may space dito na amenities. Yan. Ang tanong, ilan ba yung service drop na required? Tama? Pwede bang 3, 2, 4? At saan ba yung service drop na ideal na location? So, mag-propose tayo. Pwede dito, dyan, dyan, or dito. So, note, dito sa Domingo, merong Meralco 34.5 kV yan. So, saan yata ang preferred? Yan. So, dito yung pinopropose namin sa corner. Okay? Okay dito. So, dalawa. Bakit dalawa? Ang tanong, pwede naman palang service drop na dalawa. Bakit? Ito raw building na ito, itong building 1, is separate naman sa building 2. Kahit sabihin mong isang property lang. So, pwede palang dalawang service drop. Tanong, what if itong building neto, dalawa, yan dalawang building na yan, linagyan ko ng common basement. Yan, nilagyan ko ng common basement Oh, oh. O sabi ng code, hindi na pwede yan. Kasi may common na kayo. So, it will not allow na 2 service drop. Isa na lang. Actually, ito yon, yung pinakita ko sa iyo. Itong service drop, ito yon. Yung kaninang picture, hindi ko na maibalik, no? Yung kaninang pinakita kong primary, yung nasa kanto, ito yon. Ito pala eh. So, ito yon. So, isang service drop lang. Okay? Next. Illustration 2. Ito naman ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, sa Oceana, underground lahat. Underground layout doon. So, we have multi buildings na 7, 6 na building ito. So, ongoing construction rin yan. So, this is the Ross Boulevard. Pero, kung titingnan mo, wala naman tapping point dito. Kasi ito yung part ng Oceana. Part na ito ng Oceana eh, ng Macapagal. So, from here, bago namin dinesign to, we have to survey the site kung saan yung tapping point ng underground. So, nakita namin, ito yung tapping point. Yan. Tsaka ito. Ito yung tapping point. Yung nakita nyo kaninang switch gear na pinapakita ko, ito yun. May gear ito. So, kung titingnan nyo itong 6 na building, saan yung magandang tapping point dito? Sa service drop? Dito? Diyan? Diyan. Obviously naman, no? Ito yung tinatawag na common sense na lang. Common sense na lang itong mga sir. Siyempre, ito yung tapping point. Dito yung, sorry. Dito yung ano mo. Sorry, mali yung pagkakaano Ayan. Dito yung tapping point mo sa corner. Okay? Kung doon yung tapping mo, ang haba niyan. Di laki ng gagastusin mo dyan. So, dito yung tapping point. Okay? So, another sample, skip na natin to dahil we need to run yung ano. And then, ito na yung actual, no? Ito na yung footprint ng building natin. Yung tapping point na pinurpose ko, ito kasi yung Rizal Avenue, yan, ito naman yung Soler, ito yung Tolentino, sorry, ito naman yung Tolentino. So dito yung prepare namin tapping point. Dito na yung service trap namin. Ang tanong, sir, approved by ni Meralco yan? Yes. Kinoordinate namin sa Meralco yan. Dito sa Rizal Avenue, alos alanganin ka dito. Kasi kung dito ka nag-propose ng imagine kung dito ka nag-propose ng tapping point, nandito yung mga switchgear mo eh. Nandito yung mga switchgear mo eh. Adi ang layo niyan. Di ba? Parang common sense lang rin, no? So sa propose ng mga location. Next. Ito naman dun para dun sa auxiliary. Yan, sa telephone service entrance. Okay? So for the meantime, we have done with the power utility requirements. Okay na tayo dito. Okay na tayo sa location. Let's proceed to single line diagram. Ako, dalawa pa pala. Anong oras ba? Okay, kaya na yan. So, what is the single line diagram? Ito yung single line diagram. Ito yung pinaka heart ng ating design. Sa single line diagram pa lang, dito mo na visualize kung paano yung flowing project. Di ba? Pag nag-assess ka sa isang project, nagkaroon ng problema, anong hinihingi mo? Hindi naman plano, di ba? Hinihingi natin yung single line diagram kagad. Kasi for the single line diagram, mabivisualize mo na at madidetect. Ako, no? Pag nag-assess kami, madidetect mo na yung magiging problema, no? Minsan, ang problema, pag nagbigay ng power single line diagram, iba doon sa as-built na naka-install. Ayun ang malaking problema. So, hindi ko na babasahin yung meaning. Let's proceed dun sa pinaka-basic diagram. So, when creating a single diagram, we have to consider, marami para tayo kino-consider. So, iba-iba to, no? May radial. Of course, yung ginamit namin dito, dahil simpleng lang to, radial lang, no? So, but basically, maraming arrangement. May radial, may secondary selective. Secondary selective, most likely sa industrial. Merong primary selective rin. Yan. Kaso mas mahal to. Combination siya, no? Meron siyang tinatawag na loop system, no? Yan. So, let's proceed to the sample, whereas how important is the power single line diagram as electrical designer and electrical practitioner. So, kasi dito pa lang makikita mo, ma-assess mo na may mali. So when we called, no, to assess yung building ng isang, hindi ko na i-mention yung condominium. Na problema kasi yung owner. But ang mahal-mahal naman ng kable. Why? Kung titingnan nyo, this is a 45-story condominium somewhere dyan sa San Juan. Makikita mo, almost ito unit, lahat to units. Lahat yan units. Almost 600 units. Ang ginawa niya, all the units from the 45 floor, for each floor, nag-riser down. Kasi nandito lahat ng meter center. So lahat ng unit going down. Dahil ang meter center niya, nandito sa baba. And the cost of the wire, naku, talagang napakamot yung owner. Napakamot na gano'n. And then, I think almost yung cable wire, if I remember, no, nasa 40 million yata. Ito lang for this uh, feeder lines for the units. So, but may kakilala siyang kilala ko. So, nag third party kami, checking. So, nagbigay ako ng preference. Unang kita ko pa lang, naku, sablay ito . So, in-assess namin, nagbigay ako ng cost, ito na siya. So, we provided a design for meter center for each floor. Yan. So, and then we divide the zone for the bus lock into two. high, tsaka low zoom. So yung 40 million niya ng wire from this scheme, ano lang, 20 million lang. Kasi madalit salita, happy siya. So next is, ito na naman, no? So another naman assessment, nangyari kasi yung mga design na mabilis na hindi dumadaan sa mga phases. O sige, gawin mo na. Minsan pinapagawa lang sa mga lang, yung mga drafting na nagkaka-drafting lang, ngayon lang gumagawa. For the purpose of, basta maka-permit lang tayo. O, nang nangyari, yung for permit neto, ginawa for construction. Ayun, sablay na. Titingnan mo, itong portion neto, hindi nakakonected sa ATS. Ito lang yung ATS nyo. Pag nag-brown out, ito yung ng facility ng office ng di ba lang aircon, wala tong kuryente. So kitang-kita na kagad na may mali, no? So tinawag kami dito to assess. Ito na siya. So from the power single diagram, makikita nyo kagad yung flow from the service entrance, from the transformer, from the distribution meter center. Nag-feed siya dito sa dalawang to cater itong offices, to cater itong mga retail. So naka-detail lahat, no? So sa power single diagram, makikita mo na yung flow. One more thing, sa power single diagram is I was called also to check ito. Tingnan nyo to. May napansin ba kayo? From the transformer, tama naman, no? Punta dito sa ATS, nag-feed dito, bumalik. Naglagay siya ng bus bar gutter. Yung load side niya, ito. Yung MDP niya, ito yung admin niya. Yan. Pero ang problem niya dito, itong load nito is some dosing retail, commercial retail. 12 commercial retail to. Yan, 12 commercial retail. Aba, tuwan-tuwa yung miracle ko nito. Bakit? Pag nag-brown out, under si Genset, yung Metro, gumagana pa rin. Correct? Kasi yan, 100%, kasama yung tenant ng Metro. Which is ito, naka single meter secondary. So may mali, di ba? Tama? So ito na siya. Yung tinama ko na, ito na. So marami pang mali dito, hindi ko na lang i-mention. So what I'm trying to point out is yung single diagram, napaka-importante. Hindi lang sa magko-conceptualize kayo, of course, based do sa experience nyo talaga na from experience, everything, kung condo, hospital, etc. Iba-iba kasi yung atake doon ng schematic, power single diagram. Kung hospital ka, iba na naman yon. Kung condominium, kung BPO, kung like now, yung mga tag ito, yung data, mga data, So, ito na yung sample ng building natin. I will show you paano i-formulate na ito. Ito na yung avenida, ito yung residential, ito yung warehouse. So, saan ako mag-uumpisa yata ng power single diagram? Kung titingnan mo yung blanco, no? Naku, paano ko yata i-conceptualize ito? Paano ko siya lalagyan ng power? So, number one, ang sabi, mag-umpisa ka sa source, sa power utility, which is si Meralco. From the power utility income 34.5, inabanggit ko kanina, we have two scheme, the primary metering and the secondary metering, which feed from Meralco switchgear. So unahin mo muna natin i-power up si residential. Si residential, we have provided the transformer bolt room. So ito na siya. Naglagay ako ng isang supply na bus duct dahil 45 stories siya. Okay ba, sir? Bakit isang bus stack na lang lahat? O, nawala na naman yung design criteria mo. Yung flexibility, reliability. Eh, kung isang bus stack yan, nasira yung isang bus stack. Di ba? Sabi mo, meron ako. Speak. Tawag ako. So, ideally, i-design natin siya sa low at high. Dalawin na natin para yung flexibility, walang problema. Okay? So, yan na siya. So, meaning to say, may bus stack ako, may meter center ako kada floor, gumagana na yung aking residential, yung buong residential tower. Next is, pasok naman tayo sa primary metering. Kasi residential is part of secondary metering as requirement ng Meralco. Pero ngayon, take note, no? Kahit offices ngayon, offices o residential, yung offices pwede na rin siyang mag-multimetering. Yung bagong Meralco na mga rules ngayon. So, mas maganda ngayon, at minimum yata is, take note, minimum 2 MBA pa yata ini-require. And then for the primary metering, we have to supply yung warehouse. Yan. So, sa warehouse, sir, bakit doon sa residential dalawang transformer, dalawang bus dock? Pwede naman sa warehouse kasi yung load naman niya kumbaga, in terms of usage, malimit lang naman siya. So, hindi siya ganun kaano. So, pwede ng isa kasi masyado rin mahal yung bus dock. Tsaka yung space provision na binigay sa amin, limited lang rin. So, ito na siya. So, yung warehouse, may meter center rin siya, pero hindi direkta sa Meralco. Isa sa meter ng owner. Okay na tayo. So, kung titingnan nyo, yung building ng tawagan ng residential at warehouse, may power na. What comes next? Of course, may mga retail tayo mga commercial di ba? Ayun. So, maglagay tayo ng meter center sa commercial, itap natin doon sa transformer. So, meron na yung power supply yung commercial. Ano na ang kulang? Ang kulang na lang natin yung admin load, yung mga essential para sa supply ng mga pumps, transformer, pumps, elevator, yung aircon ng mall para sa mga chiller, common area, street lighting, admin office. So, ito naman siya. Yan, sa common. Of course, may mga genset. Ayan. Okay. So, ganun lang pala mag-conceptualize ng power single and diagram. From power single and diagram, madedetect na natin yung mga equipment na gagamitin natin, na ilalagay natin dun sa mga pinurupose natin location kanina, yung mga yellow. Correct? So, okay. Ito na pala mga ilalagay ko. May meter center ako doon sa kada floor. May panel ako, may bus stack ako, may transformer ako. Ang tanong na lang yan, yes, alam mo yan, pero hindi mo alam yung size ng transformer. Hindi mo alam yung size ng genset. Hindi mo alam yung size ng bus stack. Hindi mo alam size ng meter center, mga panel or whatsoever. So, let's proceed do sa calculation. Tinatawag namin preliminary load estimate. Para malaman na natin yung tamang size niya at rating. Imagine, schematic design phase pa lang to. Wala pang binibigay ang info yung mga kasamang mong trade consultant. Sir Johnny, yun yung rating ko ng mechanical. Ito yung chiller na rating ko. Ito yung rating ko ng pumps. Sa schematic design phase, is you base your assumption based on your experience mo. Okay. Kaya, pero bibigay kami ng mga assumption na gagamitin nyo. Since yung iba kasi bago ang parang sa design, magagamit nyo yun. So, next is, I made this power single and sample exercise. Uwi nyo na lang to. So, i-create nyo sa bahay nyo. You can message me directly doon sa messenger kung ano yung pinopose nyo para naman yung inatinan nyo dito worthy at ma-practice rin kayo. At try sana to extract tong single line diagram nito, but because of the limited time, sige, ano ko na to, i-sample ko na ito. Mabilis lang naman sige, i-sample ko na to. Doon sa exercises 1, i-sample ko tong 45 floor Ito, exercise 1, we have 4 MBA. a commercial mixed-use high-rise building composed of BPO, hotel, residential. Paano ko ba sisimulan siya? So power single diagram. So mostly, ang sabi natin, source. Mula sa source, okay? Since meron tayong BPO, hotel, residential, at retail commercial, it will fall to primary at secondary. So maglagay muna ako ng switchgear para i-extract ko, no? Para i-extract ko yung dalawang meter. So meron ako secondary meter. Ito, secondary meter. Meron akong primary metering. Primary metering. Then may residential ako, consider as direct, yung secondary is direct sa residential. So magpapatakbo ko ng BASDA to cater lahat ng residential. Of course, dito sa secondary, nandito yung transformer, main circuit breaker, bus duct, ito yung bus duct, and ito yung meter center. Meter center. Para sa doon sa residential. Okay? So tapos na tayo doon sa residential. We have the hotel. Hotel BPO, so kung may primary metering ka, so you have to extract ano yung mga load mo sa primary metering. Meron akong sa hotel, meron ako sa BPO, and meron ako sa commercial retail. Yung commercial retail, pwede nang ipasok sa commercial retail, pwede nang dalawa. Ito yung retail, ito naman yung admin, load, mga essential. Yan. So tapos na. Ito yung load ng para sa hotel, ito naman yung load para sa BPO. Itong dalawa is combination ng commercial at retail. So ito yung mga switchgear ko, switchgear. I mean, individual MDP para dun sa mga individual hotel, BPO, etc. So ito yung pinaka low voltage switchgear niya. Ito yung pinaka LBSG niya. Of course, meron ditong dito natin lagay yung primary metering Kinulang lang ako eh. Kung primary metering, meron ka dito MBSG. So depende sa load nito, let's say kasi for MBA siya, let's say itong residential mo 1 MBA, may 3 MBA siya, so meron kang lumalabas pala dito, dalawang transformer na tag 1.5 para i-cater tong buong load mo ng BP, hotel, tsaka commercial. Okay? Naintindihan ba? So, ang kulang na lang dito is, of course, yung generator. Lagay ka ng generator. Maglagay ka dito ng generator paralleling switchgear. Tapos, since ito yung switchgear mo, may dalawang ATS ka dyan, ATS, dalawang transformer mo, pass mo doon. Alam ko, maraming sasabi dyan, sir, nasa yung power pump? Tsaka na lang natin i-tackle yan. So, ito lang. Ito yung pag-i-extract ng singular diagram. Okay. Yung the rest is sa exercise, pag uwi nyo, pwede nyo ito. Pwede nyo i-sample to. Next. Okay na tayo sa power utility, single line diagram. Okay. Dalawa na lang. Punta na tayo sa preliminary load state. So, ito yung footprint ng building natin. Where do I start my calculation? Depende sa inyo. Pero sa amin, mas mabilis. Doon sa pinakamabilis. Calculate ko muna yung residential and then tower to warehouse. And then sunod kong commercial retail at common area. Let's proceed to tower 1. Let's start. So in tower 1, we are dealing with dwelling unit, di ba? Kasi for residential 'yon. So I put the procedure in the calculation are using the standard or optional calculation method. And the right side, I put all the preference ng table sa PEC code. May tanong nga eh. Ano bang preference? Kailan ba sinasabi yung dwelling unit? Consider as dwelling unit. Diba? So sabi sa Article 100, dwelling unit raw, meron kang cooking. Tama? Meron kang sleeping area. So meron kang laundry. O ano pa? Of course, sanitation. So, pag iyan meron doon sa lahat sa ano, is considered as dwelling unit. Kasi minsan nagde-debate diyan eh. May debatable diyan, eh wala pa lang ano, eh ba't dwelling unit ang consideration? So, ibang calculation yung pag wala, hindi siya dwelling unit. Magpo-fall siya doon sa commercial. So, step by step, ito yung footprint ng ano, nung per floor na typical. We have 7 units. Unit A, malalaking unit ito, hindi studio type. Oh. So, I provide yung calculation methodology. Paki-check nyo na lang. Step 1, step 2. Step 1 is you have to know, you have to calculate each unit. Correct? Pag nakuha mo na yung each unit, i-total mo lahat ng unit to get the meter center. So, you get the meter center per floor. You add all the meter center, you calculate, you get the busway, the common busway. After getting the common busway, you get the tapping point, which is ito yung transformer. So, napakasimple lang ang calculation ng dwelling units. Next. So, ito na siya. So, sabi ko nga, yung dwelling unit, kinalculate natin, ito na siya. As per sa reference naman, binigay ko ng mga table, ito, sundan nyo lang to. Isa-isain lang natin to. So, ito lang rin naman yun. So, overall, ang calculated namin is 7436 kVA. So, almost 1,710 ang total. O, hinati namin yung, kagaya na sinabi ko, hinati natin yung residential na dalawang zone. So, we split into 2 MVA into 2 sets of 1 MVA. So, ito na siya. And then, coordinate the data with the supplier para ibigay natin dun sa structural. O, ito na siya. So, kompleto na. So, we're done with the calculating the transformer and the technical data niya. So, next is, you have also to put and inform the developer yung mga ginamit yung appliances load. Why? Kasi mamaya, itong appliances load nito will be used by developer as preference dun sa magiging marketing rules sila. Kasi, halimbawa, may nag-check, may bumili ng unit, eh nilagay mo dito 5,600 o 5.6 kilowatt yung range. Ang nilagay nila is 8 kilowatt. O, paano na yung abang ninyo? O, sometimes yung water heater, nilagay nyo 3.5 kilowatt. Ito. O, may tenant, naglagay 6.5 kilowatt. So, magkakaroon ng problema, di ba? Kaya ito, binibigay ito para yung unit owner na bibili, aware rin sila. Pero it doesn't mean naman na sometimes, nagre-relay man din sa 3.5. Pag nag-request naman yung unit owner na bumili, depende rin naman yun. Kailangan may approval. Oh. Next is, so we're done with the residential. Kagaya doon sa ano natin, procedure natin. Let's proceed yung tower 2, warehouse. Yung warehouse lang naman, ito lang naman. Oh. Ano bang load ng warehouse? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Walong unit ng warehouse. Actually, sold out na nga ito eh. Lahat. And then, let's proceed sa calculation. Simple lang pala yung warehouse. From article 2.20, 2.2.3, page 4. Ang per square meter ng naroon ng warehouse is 4. Nako, baka may tumitingin na sa inyo sa PEC. Correct. Kung titingnan niyo yung 2.20.2.3, ang nakalagay dyan 2 for the warehouse. Sir, bakit nilagay mo 4? Alam mo bakit? Kasi ah, yung mga tenant namin sa ibang project, hindi warehouse ginagawa ng bahay. So, nag-overload siya. So, sabi naman sa PEC is minimum. So, we provide a safety factor instead of 2, tinasa na namin ng 4. Yan. So, yan yung calculated namin. So, almost 1.527 kVA. So, okay na. Let's proceed sa calculation ng commercial retail. For the commercial retail, yan, minsan dito maraming sumasablay rin ng engineer, no? Design engineer. Kung titingnan nyo, sir, hindi pa namin alam yung tenant kung food ba yan o non-food. How do we how we do know kung ano yung load ng i-assume namin dyan? So, magandang tanong yun, no? So, ginawa na namin preference. Sa dami namin project na experience, we provide itong reference nito as assumption for you. You just multiply. If your retail is non-food or retail food, simply lang, you multiply by 200 to 250 per square meter. Ibig sabihin, non-food o wala siyang cooking. Kung F&B naman, food and beverages with cooking, is 300. Yan. So, ang composition nito is general lighting, outlet, ayan, at aircon na, AC na. Okay? Yung preference assumption naman nito is general lighting, CO, at AC. Dahil food siya and beverages, meron siya, anong sinasama dyan? Kitchen equipment. Kitchen equipment and ventilation. Yan. So, magkaiba yan. Marami nagkamali dyan. May mga tenant inassume as non-food. Pagdating ng actual, puro food pala. Una, sablay na, wala nang abang ng ventilation, si mechanical, alit pa ng load ng electrical, sablay na. Oh. So for stringent, kung ako sa inyo, you design muna ng food para mas maganda. Pero if the client or the architect, sabihin naman nila, i-declare nila na food, mas maganda yon. Okay? Next is, you can calculate by general lighting loads by occupancy. Ito yun na yung kay stall cup na inano ko to, in-extra ko kay stall cup to. Pwede nyo ring isa-isayin na lang. Kung yung lighting load, receptacle load, special load, pwede nyo isa-isayin. And you compare dun sa assumption ng density, ito, demand load. Pwede nyo i-compare. So ginawa ko yan. Kinumpare ko ngayon yan. Kinalculate ko to, kinuha ko yung retail. Ito, 6216. Na-arrive ako doon sa 796. Ang kaiba lang nito, walang aircon. Kasi naka-centralize kami. So, extracting the 6216, total area na yan 6216, i-assume mo na lang ng 300 BA. Sige lang, wala akong calculator. Most likely, lalabas dyan 6 times 3, 18. Calculate ko lang Yun, 6216 times 300. Yun, 1864. 1,864, 800 BA. If you use dun sa demand density natin ng 300 BA per square meter, assuming food, ang layo sir ah. Kasi kasama dito yung aircon, di ba? O, if you multiply ito ng ano, kasi parang ang range ng mechanical tsaka ano, mostly 40% to 60%. So parang 40% lang to. Tingnan natin kung magpamatch dito. Times 0.4. Ayun, 745. Yan. So ito. Ibig sabihin, kinalculate ko siya ng general method at ginamit ko tong ito. Alos hindi pa rin naglalayo. Di ba? Hindi pa rin siya naglalayo. So we're done with the commercial retail. Okay? Next is, combining the commercial retail tsaka yung warehouse, dahil nakakabit sa isang transformer, we derive at 2 MVA, 2 MVA, and ito yung technical data from the supplier. So next is okay na tayo dun sa ano, sa commercial tower 1, tower 2. Last is yung admin load na lang. Yan. So for admin load, we all know na ano yung mga admin load. Kung nasa roof deck tayo, nasa taas tayo, we are dealing with calculation of mechanical ventilation tsaka elevators. So ang dami nating elevator kasi may mga freight elevator tayo. So when we go down, ito wala na itong halos load. Kasi ano na ito eh, common hallway na lang to, almost common hallway na lang to. So ang load nito puro lighting na lang. So pagdating doon sa amenities, ang load nito is swimming pool lang. Okay? When you go down to the podium parking, ito lang, yung mga car lift, tsaka ventilation. Pagdating doon sa mall, centralized aircon, yung mga chiller, at least yung mga common hallway, at yung mga pumps, water pumps, discharge pump, booster pump, ventilation, jet pump. So ayun yung mga load lot. So paano ba natin na-assume yan? So ito na siya yung assumption niya, no? For general lighting load, receptacle load, we assume 93 kVA. Yan. Parking. So ang tanong, may nagtanong sa akin, yung nag-conduct ako ng seminar sa ibang ano, ibang chapter. So paano yung mga pumps? Paano yung nakuha yung load na ano na yung capacity? Tama. O paano yung nakuha yung load ng aircon? Sa mga pumps kasi, like sa elevator din, paano yung nakuha yung elevator ng load? Sa elevator, may formula, no? Kasi nasa part 2 pa yun, nasa part 2 pa yun na i-explain ko eh. So, may ginagawa din sa, ano, sa elevator. Kailangan mo lang kunin kung ilang ilang passenger na yung elevator, you can compute na the total horsepower. May formula yun, kasi nasa part 2 pa kasi yun eh. And then, for the chilled water, for the pumps, transfer pump, booster pump, you get to know kung ilang GPM. So may graph yan. From the graph, i-extract mo lang yung graph, makukuha mo rin kung ilang horsepower. So, masyadong technical yun, no? And then, for the aircon, we compute yung 15 square meter, 1 tunnel for 15 square meter as race standard. So mostly ganun yung ano yung calculation do sa admin load. When it comes to general lighting, nandoon sa code, I think i-check niyo na lang, may din naman doon na ilang watts, I think 10 VA per watts. Makakalculate niyo naman yan. Pero kung experience wise, kung meron akong hallway, isang hallway, I can assume 3,000 VA o 1,500. Depende sa haba ng hallway. Kasi kung maliit ng hallway, you can assume one branch circuit 20 ampere, which is equivalent to mostly 1,500 VA for the safe assumption. So, ayun yung mga preference ng mga admin load at essential load. Actually, yung calculation nito kasi nandoon sa part 2. Anyway, since we're running off time, I have to move on. Almost 4 o'clock na. And then we're done with the calculation, no? Ito na essential load. So we have 2 MVA, etc. Yan ang emergency, no? Of course, kasama itong emergency, no? Naka-synchronize yung paano kami is cater buong building, residential, commercial, lahat na. And one more thing, we have done with the electrical, you have to consider ano yung mga equipment para dun sa auxiliary. Hindi yung puro electrical kasi meron na naman tayo auxiliary room, but this time hindi na tayo magkakalculate. Ito yung tinatawag na common sense lang. So for the fire detection alarm system, obviously na every floor we have a fire alarm terminal box. Take note, ideally the size of fire alarm terminal box is nasa 30 by 30 by 15. Hindi na lalayo doon. Kung tumas kayo, much better kasi nilalagay na naman dyan yung mga module. And then next is for the telecommunication, the equipment that we need to put it only the equipment from the PLDT or Globe, yung tinatawag na NAP, ODF. And the other one is the FDP o TTC. FDP, TTC, around, ang size na niya, pwede nang 0.5 by 0.7, ang depth niya is 200. So ito na yung nakalagay doon sa auxiliary room. I-extract na lang natin mamaya yun sa auxiliary room para malaman naman yung size ng auxiliary room is tama. Also, we have to consider yung CCTV. So sa CCTV naman, CCTV full box, the same thing is ideal is 50 by 50 by 15. But the IDF switch is different. Kasi IDF switch, normally, ito yung 2U. Pag mga 2U lang to o 3U, most likely 700 by 700 ang size nito. Mas malaki siya. Of course, yung public address natin, same thing, ideal is 30 by 30 by 15. The same thing with the intercom pull box. So we're done with all the power utility location. We proceed on detailing section. Since we all know the rating, the dimension, etc. Ilagay na natin doon sa loob ng auxiliary room. Sa lahat ng mga location room, ilagay na lahat ng equipment na calculate natin at pinropose natin. So simple lang ang rule sa detailing at section paglalagay ng mga equipment sa isang utility room. We just based on napakasimple sa 110.2.1 working space. Ano nga ba to? Maraming condition mga sir, mga ma'am. Condition 1, kung makikita nyo sa right side, may metallic exposed live parts. And the other left thing is insulated. Let's say, we assume wood dyan. O sabi niya, condition 1 lang pala. 0 to 150 volt, minimum 3 feet. And for 151 to 600 volt, ang minimum is 3 feet. Okay? At condition 2, iba naman to. Metal siya, may panel board sa right side, and then grounded parts. Anong grounded parts yung sinasabi niya? Pwedeng ano yan, yung metal din yan. Pwedeng frame, metal. Ang condition niya, 0-150 volts, same lang rin pala, 3 feet. For 151 to 600 volt, ang minimum is 3.5 feet. But the difference is condition 3, for 151 to 600 volt, minimum is 4 feet. Why? Kasi parehas na siya exposed to exposed. Okay? 3 to 4 feet. So, ito magagamit nyo to doon sa pag-i-spacing nyo, paglalagay nyo ng mga equipment. But, you also need to consider the calculation pag malalaki yung mga switch gear, etc. You need to calculate the arc flash. Okay? So, one of the sample of the LBSG room, ito. So, you have to consider itong front nito. Yan. You have to consider it. Pero, ideally, para mas mabilis, yung preference lang ninyo, 1 meter. 1 meter lahat. Pero ito, dahil sa medium voltage to, ay, depende to. Kailangan ko calculate din yung arc flash. And then, We size the transformer, we get the data by the manufacturer. You put all, pakisagot. Sabi mo na sabi. And then, you submit all the technical data, mga sir, mga ma'am. Kasi kailangan ng structural to. For this particular area, kailangan ng structural, i-calculate tong ano neto, load ng load bearing netong slab neto. You have to provide all this data. Okay? So we're done with the detail of the LBS0, which is compounding architect. Oh, wala akong magagawa. Yan talaga yung yan pala yung lumabas sa tawas, sabi niya. Oy, bibigay ko na yung area mo. Okay? So compounding na rin sila. And then next is ito naman yung MBSG, ito yung technical data. Kasi may MBSG na yan, ba't ang laki-laki? Ibigay mo yung sample. O binigay ko yung sample, ganyan po yung talagang lalabas niyan, yung sample. Okay. O, at least maniniwala na sila. So, doon sa schematic design report, lahat ng pinapakita ko, ipapakita nyo to. Kasi ito na yung pinaka-preference nyo para doon sa guidelines sila. So, ito na. So, i-struct nyo lahat ng kada floor para maniwala sila. O, ito yung kailangan ko ng size. Ito na yung mga laman ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, no? CCTV, 30 by 30, FFTV, yun, IDF. So, ano nyo lahat, diba? Galing kay Meralco, ito yung transformer boardroom ng galing kay Meralco, standard nila, i-forward natin. Yung pala talaga kailangan, 6 by 6. Wala tayong magagawa dyan, Meralco rules yan eh. O yung BFI, ito yung pala kailangan. So lahat, documented. Hindi lang natin hinulaan. From the schematic design report pa lang, when is talagang inanalyze. From the genset, ito naman yung genset, bigay yung technical data, ito yung height. So ito yung mga bigat. Yan. So natatandaan niyo yung ito na ba yun? Ito. Natatandaan niyo yung kanina sasabi kong residential na kinuha natin? Kinuha natin yung kabila dahil wala yung location ng bus dock. Ito na siya. So naniwala na sila. Bili mo, 49 floors yun. Naniwala, binigyan na rin nila. So ito yung binigay ko sa kanilang drawing. Ito yung as per working clearance, mamit lang eh. Wala na silang magagawa kasi ito talaga yung sukat na galing sa manufacturer. Yan, dinitil pa nga namin yung yung section niya, parang naka-front elevation. And so on. Yan. So I think let's discuss ito sa iba kasi itong grounding i-discuss ko doon sa yung mga ko doon sa mga nag-i-school kami RMA Student Affair. Ako rin yung in charge sa Metro Central. So I think we have done masyadong matagal rin itong grounding lightning system. Kailangan. Okay, last is actually ibibigay rin natin yung specification sa owner, sa client, sa architect for the sake of kasi 'di ba may QS sila for the budgetary purposes o kailangan nila yung mga specs. So, it's a different documents na pinoprovide namin. And then, that's it. Thank you very much. I hope everyone is maraming natuto.